What is good, everybody? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys live to talk about our keys to the playoff game. Got Dallas Stewart on the other line. Hold on a second, I gotta close the door really quick. Sorry about that. Let them know what's up, Dallas.
What's up?
Yep. Well, coming that time again. We're getting ready to play the Dallas Cowboys on Saturday, on Wildcard Saturday, for the first playoff game for the Saturday night game. What's up, Adam? What up, Eddie? So, congratulations, Adam, on getting his new job at State Farm. So hopefully it's not too much of a hassle. But Dallas and I are here. So big game coming up. Last time I played Dallas, we had Earl Thomas, but they didn't have freaking Amari Cooper yet. They did not make that trade yet. And the last two times we'd taken on Dallas prior to that in the regular season, we never allowed a single Zeke Elliott touchdown yet. In Elliott's career against the Seahawks, we never allowed Zeke to score, and I hope we can be able. That's going to be key. One of the keys to the game: limit Zeke Elliott, but don't let him in the end zone, and definitely get pressure on Dak Prescott and sack his ass how many times that we can with Frank Clark. Yep. What do you think, Dallas? You want to mention anything?
The turnover battle will be huge. I think we need at least one or two turnovers. Obviously, stop their pass rush of Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence. So the offensive line better be on par. And hopefully they get J.R. Sweezy and DJ Fluker back this week, or if not,
They're playing. Kenny already confirmed that they're playing.
But they got to protect Russell Wilson this week.
Yeah, and definitely Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith are big time weapons at that linebacker spot too. But in recent history in the playoffs, history has not been so kind to the Dallas Cowboys when they've hosted these home playoff games in these past some odd years, even back when they had Romo too, you know? History has not been in favor of Dallas. I mean, you saw it the last time they were in it when Aaron Rodgers drove down in the final 30 seconds to set Mason Crosby up for that game-winning field goal. Remember that one? 2016?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
I was there when Romo botched the snap and Jordan Babineau made the tackle. I was in the other end zone. I remember because Miles Austin's parents were sitting right in front of us, too. Really nice people, too, by the way, back then.
And he's back playing with them again, isn't he?
Nah.
Miles Austin?
No, Miles Austin been out of the league for a while, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of Tavon Austin.
Tavon Austin, the former Los Angeles/St. Louis Ram, is on the freaking Dallas Cowboys. He had the lone touchdown last time in the Week 3 matchup.
And who's that tight end they have, Jarwin?
Jarwin? Yeah, Jarwin ain't no Jason Witten, though. Jarwin ain't no Jason Witten.
No. Also, the special teams better be played a lot better than it did last week. No block punts this week.
Oh, you're telling me, you and me were both witness to that shit show last week against the Cardinals, even though Seabass was able to kick it through, which technically Seabass swept the Cardinals.
Yeah, he did.
And then there's also how much pressure can Frank Clark put on Dak Prescott, along with Bobby Wagner in the middle shutting down Jarwin, and then, of course, also Jaron Reed and Quentin Jefferson. How big of a game can the Seahawks pass rush have against Dak Prescott? I mean, we were getting lots of pressures on Dak the last time around, though. I mean, but Shaquille Griffin's going to really have to cover Amari Cooper heavy this game, and going to have to put heavy coverage, especially on Cole Beasley after that insane touchdown that he had against the Giants in their comeback, even though they rested Zeke for the playoffs. But teams that rest certain players in the playoffs in the past, historically known, have shown rust. Take the 96 Denver Broncos, for example, when they rested players far in advance, and they underestimated the Jacksonville Jaguars in 1996. And what ended up happening? Jacksonville pulls one of the best playoff upsets in playoff history in the NFL back in 96 when they upset the number 1 seeded Denver Broncos. I mean, and then also Saints took us really lightly, coming off of their Super Bowl championship the year before that, and then ended up being a wild card because Atlanta won the division. Then we pulled the craziest upset in playoff history, upsetting the defending champs at that time. Been a lot of amazing playoff moments, but what do you think happens this time around, though? I think hopefully if we can play our game right and utilize our running game correctly, and then hopefully with Wilson bombing it with way more playoff experience than Dak Prescott. If Wilson could just bomb it right to our receivers like Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin and Jerron Brown and David Moore, and then of course hitting our tight ends like Ed Dixon, we can just take over this game early, then we got a good chance of winning. But we got a defense. This game is mainly going to be on our defense shutting down that freaking offense. Dallas?
Yeah, it'll be up to us stopping their receivers in that running game.
Zeke Elliott, freaking... Yeah, Bigfoot Seahawks is actually going to the game, for those of you that didn't know.
Who's that?
Another one of my subscribers. He's a pretty cool dude.
Oh, he's actually going there?
Yeah, Kenny Burns is going. Greg's going. Shout out to those guys.
Who's Greg?
Greg Woodfill. You met him. You met him at the game last Sunday against the Cardinals.
Oh, is he that shorter guy?
Not really short, but he's the other YouTuber known as Seahawks Videos.
Oh, and Kenny Burns is going?
Yeah, Kenny Burns. Kenny Burns going with him too. But before our game, let's talk a little bit about the other game that's going on before us. A division rival game in the wild card between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. None of us expected Indianapolis to get back, but Andrew Luck is definitely in the running for a comeback player of the year, and he's been quite impressive in these past few games. Heck, one of the games that Andrew Luck won was a shutout against the very Dallas Cowboys that were playing. And then they did beat Houston earlier on in the season too, to still keep their season alive to get to the playoffs. Any other thoughts you want to put in for this?
Could possibly be an upset, but I still think the Texans will win at home. But I cannot see them going into New England and beating New England next week.
Yeah.
But this will be a matchup of who can, which defense can stop two of the better receivers in the league. Which defense will be able to stop T.Y. Hilton, and which defense will be able to stop DeAndre Hopkins.
True.
So the receiver battle will be key in that game.
And then also the pass rush battle too. We all saw the Colts shut down Houston in Houston last time around. And it was the opposite with Houston when they played the Colts in Indianapolis. Lots riding on that game too. And then the Sunday games will obviously be the Eagles and the Bears. And then on the NFC side, and then on the AFC side, we got the Los Angeles Chargers in a rematch with the Baltimore Ravens. What do you think happens this time around? Do you think that the Chargers this time will be more familiar with Lamar Jackson's playing style and Gus Edwards?
Yeah, but it'll be tough for them going across the country. But a lot of people like them as a sleeper team in the AFC that could make a run. Yeah, that might be one of the better games of the weekend. But that Ravens defense is no joke. They could make a deep run just because of their defense.
Defense is definitely good in Baltimore.
Down.
That's why Baltimore has the number one defense is ranked as number one in the league this year.
I wouldn't be surprised if either one of these teams made a run at the AFC Championship game.
I would not be surprised either. AFC side, I mean, other than New England,
definitely is more wide open than the NFC.
New England's probably most likely expected to be in the AFC Championship game again, as usual, though. Nonetheless.
And obviously that Eagle-Bear game, that's a very intriguing game.
Hopefully it will matter if we beat Dallas, because this is what I personally want. I want us to go in there, beat the Cowboys, and then hope for the Eagles to upset the Bears so that way we can get a rematch with LA and Los Angeles, because I am bloodthirsty for that game.
Yeah, that's what we all want. And it'll be interesting to see if that Chicago defense will be able to shut down the high-flying Eagles offense as of late.
Nick Foles is at it again.
But Chicago's the biggest point spread of the weekend at 6.
Yeah, because
maybe they're showing a little disrespect to the Eagles. They managed to somehow get in despite several injuries this year, and I don't think anybody wants to face the Eagles right now.
Yeah, but here's the question. Do you think anyone wants to face us right now? I mean, I'm not assuming anything for these games, you know? I'm not assuming. I'm never one to assume. I'm just one to let the games happen. But this is no game picks like it is in the regular season.
Out of all the lower seeded teams of this weekend, I think that would be my most likely upset. Is Philadelphia going into Chicago and beating Chicago?
That would be the
Just
upset of the
because they were there
playoffs.
last year, Trubisky. This is good. How is he going to look in the playoffs? This will be his first start.
His debut in the playoffs, definitely. And Nick Foles has been there before and would not be surprised, I mean, to
So
see.
that's the one game where I could see the wild card winner advancing, and then maybe the Chargers.
What about us,
Getting their
though?
revenge.
I think, could you see us still advancing? I could possibly still see us advancing depending on what kind of game we play. If we still keep on, you know, dusting them with, I mean, keep on, you know, bruising them and, of course, you know, gassing them with a running attack.
We did on all three sides of the ball like we did against, we struggled on offense for 3 quarters against Minnesota.
Yeah, but we need to definitely play the way we played against Kansas City. The key to that will be playing the way we played against the Chiefs if we want to win this game.
Even though our defense did give up some big plays, but our offense needs to play like that again.
Our offense needs to play like that.
3 and out, or
And then our defense needs to play like they did against Minnesota, for sure.
It does.
Yeah, a little mixture of
big plays. I don't think you can't fall behind earlier. The crowd's going to be against you.
Yeah, that's the only difference this time is how big is the home field advantage play this time with it being in Dallas. Dallas always shows up for the Cowboys, but when we've had certain road games, I know I've seen certain things happen in road games in Dallas, and I remember the last few times we played Dallas in Dallas, the 12s have really made a lot of noise in that building too. And Russell Wilson has not lost in Jerry World at all. And I hope we can make that 4-0 for Russell's career in that building, though, too. But not assuming, because Dak and Zeke are not going to go down easy. Van Der Esch and Lawrence are not going to go down easy, along with Jalen Smith. And along with, who was the other one you mentioned again?
Randy
Gregory.
He makes some very costly, at times he does make very
Costly penalties.
Costly penalties, but he can still get to the passer.
He can, big time, too. And then... But we can definitely get to the... Frank Clark, though, needs to have a big game again, along with Jaron Reed. And we at least need to drop Dak Prescott at least 3 or 4 times. Maybe even... If we can get him more, that would be amazing. What up, Tay Francis?
Probably also one of the reasons we were able to squeak by Arizona was those 2 fumbles.
Yeah, the fumble where Rosen just dropped the ball and... Then Frank Clark stripped arm. Oh wait, that was Jacob Martin. Jacob Martin to me is one of my favorite rookies on that defense for us this year. If Jacob Martin can have another big game, and get some hits and force Dak to fumble the ball, that would be freaking huge too. And then Coleman's gonna need to get some interceptions along with McDougal. We got to win the turnover battle again too, like we've had in these past 2 weeks.
Just like how we got 2 turnovers. Against Kansas City, and one of the fumbles we scored a go-ahead touchdown.
That was Minnesota. That was Minnesota on the scoop and score for that go-ahead touchdown.
In the Kansas City game,
Oh yeah.
We scored a touchdown off of it.
Oh, wasn't that the one to? Was that the Carson one, or was that the?
I think it was to Vanette.
Oh yeah, it was Vanette. It was Vanette. You're right. It was to Vanette.
Yeah, this is definitely both these teams. Both these teams appear to be kind of even, same record. I mean, the defensive line is about the same. Obviously, I think we have the edge at coaching and we have the edge at quarterback. I would say maybe they probably have the edge at the running game
and the receivers. I mean,
definitely they have the advantage at receiver
with Amari Cooper, just one big guy, and Cole Beasley. Cooper and Beasley are the only concerns of receiver.
We have to watch out for Beasley on 3rd downs because they like to use him on 3rd downs on screens or whatever.
The one thing that pisses me off the most about this game is the ref they assigned to us in this freaking game. Freaking Walt Anderson was a Texas native, and we have a lot of bad history with Walt Anderson.
Is that who's reffing it?
That's who's freaking reffing this game. That's the only thing that pisses me off about it. If you see
was it Walt Coleman that was the ref for the Tuckville game, or Walt Anderson? Walt Coleman, right?
Walt Coleman, I think, was the tuck rule. I I don't remember. If
So
someone find out which ref was the tuck rule
you
ref.
think there could be some calls that go against us?
Probably with Walt Anderson, Texas native, and probably if Jerry Jones didn't freaking, slip him in some secret money off of to the refs, depending. Let's see if Jerry Jones's bank account has a secret payoff to the freaking.
We just better hope every wild card game, every playoff game, the officiating doesn't decide it, because the officiating has been a huge issue this year.
Damn right it has.
I mean, there's been some very just questionable calls this year that have affected the outcomes of games.
One of them was in Cleveland with the Chargers, where it should have been a false start, and the guy missed it, and the ref ended up getting fired because of it.
Wow.
That's one.
Or that terribly officiated Saints-Cowboys game.
Yeah, Bigfoot Seahawks Dallas is just on the speakerphone. That's just all it is. And Eddie Taylor's still on here too, saying what's up, Dallas.
Oh, what's up, Eddie?
Yeah.
Looking forward. He's probably looking forward to Saturday.
We all are, and there's no way in freaking hell I'm watching that game over at freaking Emerald Downs. I'm going over to my family house in Suncadia.
Yeah, you don't. You don't want to. It's the curse. I don't know.
Yeah, I dread Emerald Downs with a freaking passion now. I mean, that's why I never go back to those viewing parties.
We did go to a viewing party last year where they won, but
against the Giants.
The Giants.
Yeah, against the Giants, which they did hold us pretty good for a little bit, and then we finally started getting going. And then also want to give a quick little shout out to the Entertainer Talking Sport, who was live earlier with Philly 500, which, I mean, he's been dropping some good content, doing some good live videos, reacting to some of the bowl games. He was reacting to the Rose Bowl game between the Huskies and Ohio State, and he's always dropping a bunch of good sports content, so check him out. He's the Entertainer Talking Sports, so he's pretty awesome. Me, Bigfoot Seahawks, I'm watching the game over at my family house in Suncadia. I am debating about going live for that, too, for the game, even though you might get mostly my dad screaming at the TV, but I'm just going to make sure I keep it on myself on there, too. I mean, I scream at the TV, too, so y'all know me for that, for real, though. I mean, I'll definitely freaking yell some shit when I'm mad at certain freaking penalty calls, but for those of you on there, if I do decide to go live, most of y'all need to freaking tune in live from the Suncadia house, where it's nice and cool, other than what it is at Emerald Downs, where there's just too many people and you can barely hear jack. Like, I mean, I know Norb loves going over there too. Me personally, my thoughts to you guys, I would love to get a bunch of you guys over here. If I decide to go live, or when I get my thoughts of the game, win or lose, be good to have you guys on. But we got to hope for the best, though, I want to, hopefully we can get this win. Hopefully me being at Suncadia will help out. I mean, superstitions, but we don't really affect anything. It's the players that play the game, and we just watch and hope for the best for our teams. You know what I'm saying? And Suncadia is a really nice spot, too. Y'all seen one of my past videos where I had my weekend over at Suncadia with Sean and Taylor Haar, if you remember, where Taylor and Sean were playing golf, and then I guessed celeb shot for Sean's birdie. For those that check that out, go scroll through the videos and check out the Suncadia video for my weekend over there. But yeah, I mean, and if you guys watched the last video, you guys saw I did get Dallas to the game last week. Tell them your experience for being there this time around, Dallas.
Well, it was a nerve-wracking game, but it was a good game to be. It was a good game to be at. Yeah.
And then, I mean, you've never sat in the end zone before, so it was good that I was able to get you in that before, too,
I tried to get close to the players that just really crowded by that corner.
Yeah, I mean, next time we'll keep you around. I'll try to keep you around for a while. I was hoping you would have stayed by me a little longer to keep on meeting guys. I mean, I know I introduced you to Ed Dixon, which I know I didn't get on the video, but Ed Dixon came right up to me, and he said to me that from the game against Kansas City, he said, he looked directly at me, pointed at me, he said, you called it, like, because I told him he was going to touchdown in the Kansas City game, and he immediately goes pointing right at me, he says to me, you called it. Remember that, Dallas?
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, you got to shake his hand. I introduced you to KJ Wright.
He shook his hand, and that was cool when Cliff April said, what's up, big man, from the end zone. He said that to me.
Yeah, I miss SLCC.
Cliff April, I think, is a fan favorite. It sucks that he had to retire.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with the way it happened. I was just rewatching the America's game, the 2013 Seahawks, and it was showing his safety on there, and I just thought, hey, why not? I did an Instagram story thing, and I messaged it to Cliff, say, hey, there you are, man, fastest score in Super Bowl history, like he said on the little interview video from Trufant's bowling event.
Didn't you interview him there at Trufant's bowling event?
Yeah, you can see the video with that too. After the Marcus Trufant interview. Marcus Trufant, yeah, Tay Francis, Walter Jones, I know him personally. Walter Jones, follow him on Instagram. Cliff Averill, I know personally. Marcus Trufant, I know personally. I am now getting connected with current player J.D. McKissick personally too, and then I am connected with Deshaun Shedd, who's currently on the Detroit Lions, and then also I'm connected with. I didn't know Richard Sherman knew me since his rookie year, and now he's on the 49ers. I obviously know Doug Baldwin. I've talked to them lots of times. Earl Thomas for a while too. A lot of players. Pete Carroll too. Pete Carroll gave me the jersey back before the shootout with Deshaun Watson, so that was cool because I was in Los Angeles, and then Pete said, we got to get you a new jersey. I didn't think he'd come through with it, So it was pretty cool. But, man, last time the Seahawks played the Cowboys in the playoffs was the Romo snap game, too. And I remember Jeremy Stevens had one of the touchdowns in that game, too. Way different people this time. We know Jason Witten was on the team. We had Hasselbeck at quarterback, and we got lucky all I botched that. This time completely different, being that it's in Dallas this time, and completely different cast, but kind of an upper edge to us with the way we've been playing on offense. Still, never ever assume anything. Let the players play the game. Hope for the best. Hope for our Seahawks to win, obviously, for all fans out there. And, of course, we had a couple Dallas fans on there, too. So, best of luck. It's going to be a fun game. And may the best team win. And hopefully it's going to be us. And also, appreciate, and show some love to my buddy Dallas Stewart while you're at it, too, because he has a lot of knowledge for this game as well. And certain histories and knowledge for what certain effects with certain players and more too. Dallas?
Yeah, I would think, I think we pretty much covered our keys, and now it's up to the teams.
Yeah, by the way, you know that there's going to be another football league kicking off, and I've been debating this for a little while too. The new Alliance League, other than the XFL coming back in 2020, I may think about watching some of these games to see how their rules are different compared to, the NFL, and then might watch a couple of those games. They kick off a week after the Super Bowl, so at least we'll have some sort of football to watch. So I was thinking about watching in a bit on that. So let's just, you want to watch some of that with me sometime soon, Dallas?
Yeah, maybe when the season starts.
Yeah, remember it starts a week after the Super Bowl. Get a little insight for how they do it differently, which we already know the 8 teams are obviously. San Diego got a team, the San Diego Fleet. Arizona has a team, the Hot Shots. They're going to be playing at Sun Devil Stadium, while the San Diego team is going to be playing at SDCCU Stadium, formerly known as Qualcomm Stadium. Salt Lake City got a team, the Stallions, and you remember B.J. Daniels, who was part of our Super Bowl team with the Seahawks? It was a third string. He was actually drafted by that team. Oh, you watch CFL? I watch CFL from time to time too. Tay Francis. But yeah, B.J. Daniels is going to be the quarterback for the Salt Lake Stallions. And then also San Antonio is getting a team which will play in the Alamo Dome, which is the San Antonio Commanders. Then the teams for the East are the Atlanta Legends, the Memphis Express, the Birmingham Irons, and last but not least, the Orlando Apollos. Just some other football league to take a watch at while we're in a little bit of the off season. And then 2020 we're getting the XFL, and I can't wait. I want to check out a couple of those games too. And then depending on it, hopefully the Seattle Mist can get good again too with our LFL. I would love to get back to some Mist games. I took a year off from the Mist games last year though because I had some things going on. So definitely would like to get back to that too, and maybe give you some action of the ladies football team. Dallas and I had lots of.
Definitely want to go back to a game this coming year.
Yeah, hopefully the Mist will be a little better than what they were last time. And I heard a rumor Michelson was coming back.
Oh, it'd be good to interact with him again.
Yeah, probably.
Because he knows you well.
He knows you well too from when you came to games. Remember that?
Yeah, he remembers.
He remembers you, and then of course, which Seahawk legends come out again, and which Seahawk players maybe might come out to some of those games, like for example, 2013 Cam Chancellor.
And the atmosphere is always great at those games.
At the Showwear Center, definitely. I mean, and then I think we have 2 banners or 3 banners up there now. I think we got 2 banners. We'll re-look back at that again. All I gotta say is thank you guys for tuning in. I think I'm gonna end it off right here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. For those of you that come on and watch when it's uploaded, make sure to like, and also if you're new, when you watch, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I know it's gonna be tough when the off season comes with depending on what videos I'm gonna be doing. I mean, obviously, I was thinking about talking about the. You know what? Before I end, I'm gonna talk about the Black Monday thing with, some of the coaches that were fired. Bengals finally parted way with Marvin Lewis, which we kind of seen that come in. Adam Gase was fired from the Dolphins, and then Todd Bowles, as expected, Gangrene David was celebrating that, fired from the New York Jets. Dirk Cutter was fired from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think we have 18 vacancies. What do you think will happen this offseason? Who's going to hire who? Who's going to be the head coach of who in the future? I know the Jets would think about interviewing Adam Gase, which I think that's a mistake on their part. I think the Jets would be better off trying to get Mike McCarthy as their head coach. Any thoughts on that, Dallas?
Yeah, McCarthy's been he's been a hot commodity ever since the Packers let him go. I've heard Chris Richard mentioned either for the Browns or the Jets.
I did hear that too. I mean,
he's a name that is on a lot of people's radar.
Richard, who obviously coached the Legion of Boom and helped get us.
I heard Bruce Arians could come out of retirement to go coach the Browns, and that's the only team he would be willing to coach.
Bruce Arians to come out of retirement would be something, especially after what he's done with Arizona.
It looks like Cutter's going to go back and be the offensive coordinator for the Falcons again since they parted ways with Sarkisian.
Yeah, but I heard a rumor possibly that Dan Quinn was possibly thinking about trying to bring in a certain Darrell Bevell to be offensive coordinator for the Falcons.
I heard he interviewed there, boy.
Oh, man, I don't think anybody wants Darrell Bevell. I know I was happy when Darrell Bevell was out. Someone says I want Mike Shanahan to be Denver's head coach. Tate Francis said that, but Mike Shanahan's
means Kyle Shanahan.
You mean Kyle Shanahan, man.
I don't think Mike Shanahan's coaching anywhere.
Mike Shanahan's been out of the league since after 2012 when he coached the Redskins.
Wait, when the Seahawks played the Redskins in the wild card round, was he the coach?
Yeah, Shanahan was the coach.
Wow, so he's been out for like 6 years?
I think so. That's the way it's looking.
Wow.
And then also, how better of a time? Where are the Raiders going to play next? Is the question. Do you think they'll?
I don't think the Niners are going to get rid of Kyle Shanahan after a few years. Another name is Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels was interviewing for the Green Bay Packers.
Will he back out of it at the last minute?
like he duped Indianapolis? Maybe. But I heard some possible rumors way back after that maybe after Belichick retires that he could have possibly been taking over the Patriots head coach, with the future.
That's probably why he'll stay there.
If he decides to stay in New England to be the heir apparent to Belichick.
Yeah, who knows how much longer Belichick's going to coach.
Tay Francis, put a link in the comment to that Mike Shanahan story when I'm done with this and it's uploaded, please.
Yeah, I can't see Mike Shanahan coming out of retirement.
Hell no. I mean, and then also we did see the finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So let me just pull this up really quick, and there are some big names on this list for finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, we finally got it out. Obviously, one is in the first ballot voting. First, we got the tight end, Tony Gonzalez. He definitely deserves to get in on the first ballot. And obviously, his record was broken by Antonio Gates last year. Up next, we got the greatest show on turf receiver, Isaac Bruce. Isaac Bruce, how many times has he been a finalist before? I think this is like his third time. What up, Dax Swags, #1 fan? Then we got Edgerrin James, a longtime Indianapolis Colt running back who was also on the Cardinals Super Bowl 43 team and then at one point played for the Seahawks. And no, Eddie, the Raiders are not playing UNLV. Ed Reed should be a shoo-in. the great Baltimore Ravens safety. Ed Reed definitely deserves to be in on first ballot. Champ Bailey, the longtime cornerback, played with the Redskins and was traded to Denver for Clinton Portis. Champ Bailey, and he was pretty good with the Broncos too. Redskins definitely made a mistake trading him to Denver, and then of course he helped Denver in a way get to Super Bowl 48, which I remember when Doug Baldwin dusted Champ Bailey on a fade route. I remember that too, even though it's for a first down and we were held to one of the field goals in that. You remember that in Super Bowl 48,
Yeah.
Dallas? Yeah, we got Champ Bailey. Up next, and this is one guy I really want to see get in. I met him back when he was a Fox commentator before he became the general manager for the San Francisco 49ers, and that's John Lynch. John Lynch definitely, he's been getting snubbed these past few years, but I think John Lynch definitely deserves to get into the Hall. He would be a good one to have in there. Up next, we got longtime New England Patriots cornerback Ty Law, Ty Law, big-time Patriot name, was part of some of. How many of those Tom Brady Super Bowls was Ty Law part of? Was he just part of 2, or was he part of the first 3?
It might have been 3.
Yeah, was he part of that one against the Eagles?
I think he was.
Yeah. Up next, we got Richard Seymour, another Patriot great who also played with the Raiders. Then after that, we got Steve Atwater. You remember the hit he put on the Nigerian Nightmare. Steve Atwater is up for it too. I mean, Steve Water's been getting snubbed. I think, could this be the year that Atwater finally gets in? We'll wait and see. Kevin Mawai is up there too, who was once with the Seahawks. Tony Baselli, the Jacksonville Jaguars great, whose career is cut short by shoulder injuries. Alan Faneca, Pittsburgh Steeler, great offensive lineman. And this is one I really want to see because I got to watch him when he was alongside Walter Jones. Steve Hutchinson. When he and Walter Jones were on that 2005 offensive line, opened up those holes for Sean Alexander. Those guys were the real MVPs, Hutchinson and Jones. And then also Hutchinson went to Minnesota and was paving the way for Adrian Peterson in his rookie year too. And then taking Minnesota with Brett Favre to the NFC Championship game where they fell to New Orleans. Hutchinson definitely, I would love to see Steve Hutchinson get in there because he was a big part. We should have franchised him over Sean Alexander after when we got screwed in Super Bowl 40. I loved Steve Hutchinson on that offensive line. And then we got Don Coryell, famous for the Air Coryell offense too, which, he died, I think, in 2000 or years back. It'd be cool to see. And then we got, now keep in mind, these are the finalists, so we don't know who's getting in. And we got the Raiders' great head coach and one-time Seahawks head coach Tom Flores for the Hall of Fame. We'll see if he gets in. We got Gil Brandt, and then the Broncos owner Pat Bowlen, and last but not least, Kansas City great Johnny Robinson. What do you think, Dallas?
Some pretty big names for the 2019 class.
Yeah, who do you think obviously are the shoe-ins that gets in?
Ed Reed, like you said, and
Tony Gonzalez. They should be for sure first.
He's one of the greatest tight ends of all time, if not the greatest.
Yeah, but then Antonio Gates will be in that talk once he retires, since Gates broke Gonzalez's touchdown records.
I'd like to see Isaac Bruce get in.
Isaac Bruce.
He had a Hall of Fame career.
He did. He was a big part of the greatest show on turf Rams teams in St. Louis.
You're right, and I hope Steve Hutchinson gets in.
Yeah.
He was a huge part of that 05 offensive line.
With Walter Jones and Robbie Tobeck and Sean Locklear. Big time. All right. I think I'm going to shut it down here. So, like I said, new and all, like, subscribe, ring the bell. Try to keep up with the stuff as best I can. Appreciate you all so far. We're above 230 subs. We're at 234 right now. And remember, if you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. Let's go to Dallas and beat the Cowboys. And as always, go Seahawks.